Let's talk about it. I'm listening, baby. You've been working all week. It's just not the fire. So won't you join me in my happy hour? It's summer, baby. So I'm stressing out. I'll listen while you speak. I won't be beside. Your troubles on me. Work it out. We will be carefree. By the time I realize we Let's talk about it. I'm listening, baby. Am I on my happy hour? Woo! Oh, this is good. This is good. This is great. Back once more and again, folks. It's a lovely, lovely Thursday afternoon in the D-Town. It's your main man, your life coach, your host, the author, the inspirer, the certified coach man, about to give y'all some game right here tonight. It's your main man, Andy Brown, about to put it down. Shout out to all my folks who are listening for the very first time, and shout out to all the folks who continue to follow the blessing, which is the online happy hour. Tell your family members, tell a friend, hit the like, hit the love, hit the share button, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. The nation is growing, and it's because of you, the callers, the texters, the talkers. You make the show what it is, folks, and I promise you, tonight will be no different. I want to shout out to all my folks who stopped watching those crate walking videos. I don't understand that. There's a rhyme and a reason for that, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, man, if you missed the show last week, shame on you. We had a wonderful discussion topic, and the folks are lining up, man. They're calling in, they're chiming in, and I definitely appreciate it. We got some wonderful gifts to give away and some fantastic words that you're going to hear. So I'm going to bring on a wonderful gentleman who's got some good game, who's got some good insight, who's going to talk with us about the specifications of our discussion topic on this particular broadcast. So again, my family members, my friends, hit some like, hit some love, and in the comments, man, go on and tell us what you're doing while you're watching the show. Are you helping your children with their homework? Are you watching television? Are you cooking and cleaning? What are you doing while you're listening to the show? What other activities are going on while you're watching this particular broadcast here? I want to hear from my people, man. I got some wonderful gifts I want to give away. The school year is still intact. If your baby don't have all of their writing materials, I got you. I got you covered. If you need some nice bling to rock around your neck, I got you. I got you. And if you need some good insight and some good information, I got you. I got you. Once again, hit the like, hit the love, share the page, tell a friend. Don't be so selfish to watch this by yourself, because you know we're going to get down with some real discussion topics, and I want to hear from you. So before we even move on, I got to put the disclaimer out there. The thoughts and ideas expressed right here on the Online Happy Hour do not reflect those who are making negative opinions or those who are just being critical of things that they see in the world. But what it does reflect are those who are coming on this particular show, giving you some real insight about life, about love, about family, about relationships, about their finances, and we're going to get down and get right on into it. Yeah, got to say that. We got people out there who are watching movies, right? We're streaming, lots of different comments that you're watching on different social platforms, and you're asking for something new to watch. Well, we got something for you. Not only are you going to hear about the film itself, but we're going to talk to the writer, the creator, and even an actor in a very wonderful production I had the opportunity to visit in the detail not that long ago. The film is called Incubated, and a very talented and gifted young man in the D-Town area is going to bless us this afternoon, this evening rather. Mr. Chianti Jeconiah is on the line with us right now, about to drop some knowledge, and I want to welcome Chianti to the show right now. What's good, family? How you doing?
All right, how you doing, Mr. Brown? Thank you for having me.
Man, it's a pleasure for us having you here. I got some folks who are wondering what this movie is I'm talking about. I want to give you an opportunity to share, talk about that a little bit later. But for those who don't know who you are, what you have going on, man, give me some insight. Who are you? And what's going on with you, brother? Cheers to you.
Oh man, my name is Chianti Jeconiah. Cheers as well. Um, Basically, my profession is every day, as you can see, a truck driver. Um, and I am here. Basically, I wrote the movie Incubated. I acted in the movie Incubated, but I'm a family man. Basically, I have a wife and children, and I'm just here sharing my story, trying to give some insight on mental illness. Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. It's a very unique topic, right? Because it's something that has been around for quite some time. We have semi recognized it, but we really haven't had a chance to really put our finger on it. And when I saw your film for the first time, at first I didn't know what I was watching, but as I began to really follow the storyline, I said to myself, "Oh, oh, for real? Word,
Yeah.
yeah." And that was my take. I'm gonna tell you something. You know, you got a good product, man, when people talk to the screen.
You said no what now?
I said, you know, you have a good product when people talk back to the screen.
You was talking back to the screen.
Yeah, we talk back. We didn't want to be rude to the other people around, but we're talking back to the screen, man. So it was
Yes, sir.
definitely a must see. But before we even dive off into the film, man, kind of give us an idea of let's talk about mental illness as a whole first. We're gonna break this thing down. What mental illness is, what it does, how to recognize it, who's
Sure,
involved
sure.
with it, and then at the same time, what do we do about it? Because I think that's
Oh,
really key. A lot of us don't do that. So, can we talk about mental illness for a moment? What is mental illness?
absolutely. Mental illness basically is um, it's basically it's something mentally that affects your behavior, your thoughts, your reactions, and all of that, and basically, um, it's abnormal. It affects it in an abnormal way, and it's something that it could be inherited. It also could be a result of some type of trauma, some childhood trauma, any type of trauma. A lot of it is due to post-traumatic stress. It also could be a trauma that you dealt with and you tried to self-medicate yourself because you did not know exactly what you were dealing with as far as the
Okay.
PTSD. And as you self-medicate yourself, as you know, like street drugs are mind altering. And if you
Hmm.
keep using that and keep self-medicating yourself, they have what they call a drug induced psychosis. And that is real. People make really inappropriate comments to people that I've seen using drugs like PCP and different things like that, and they say, "Man, they just messed with that stuff and started barking at the moon and never came back." You ever heard any terms like that? Like, man, they gone, they done lost their mind. But there is a way to go out and get those people and restore them back to their sanity, or at least get them to where they're able to function properly in society. A lot of women sometimes they were abused as children. Males were abused as children, and to forget about that stuff, they self-medicate themselves because of the lack of knowledge about mental illness and exactly what is going on, and it causes them their mind to go through a psychosis where they imagine things, they hear people talking about them, they think you don't like them for no apparent reason. Well, people just write them off as crazy, or I don't want to mess with them. But we
Yeah,
have to begin to look at that and say, hey, what is wrong with this person, and what can we do to help them?
absolutely. Because usually we kind of know that somewhere along the way something ain't quite right. We don't really want to admit it all the way,
Yes,
but
sir.
you recognize there's a little couple disorders in there. Not really sure if
Yeah,
it's depression or you spoke about children. You like to pacify that with giving them a few more toys. Let them just be quiet and
exactly.
figure it out on their own, you know.
Sure, sure,
Or maybe they're
sure.
just an only child and we just can't quite figure out. Let them play, give them a computer and let them sit off in the corner for a little bit. Mommy trying to get a freak on still. Did I say that out loud? Okay. I didn't know if anybody heard that for real. But see, what happens is different examples, man, like you mentioned, it causes other disorders. And I in research and study that I've seen, a lot of times you'll see eating disorders, right? Whether they're
Mm-hmm.
eating too much
Yep.
or not enough. They'll back away from other people. A little bit of schizophrenia, uh, uh, odd behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you yourself like recognize these signs without just writing somebody off and just saying, something ain't right with their child? They just tripping right now.
I think that I think that some terms need to really be looked at. Like I can just use myself for an example. When I was younger, I would react in ways when I didn't get my way that other children did not react. I would respond in ways like if you told me no, I couldn't have no Kool-Aid or a popsicle, I might go to my room and tear everything up and just throw things everywhere. Um, and instead of saying he's throwing a temper tantrum, you know what I mean? Or he just bad, he need a whooping, or
Right.
or or give him some Benadryl so he can go to sleep, or whatever the case may be. You have if that child is abnormally acting and really just over the top, then it could be something wrong outside of he just bad. And me personally, um, it what happened to me was I did not find out that I am bipolar.
Hmm.
I am bipolar, type one bipolar, and basically I have manic spells. However, I didn't find out that I was bipolar until I was like 25,
Okay.
25 years old, and it was through a series of me getting in trouble and different things like that. um, they say I was hot tempered, I had an anger problem, I'm short fused. All of these things are he's crazy. All of these things are things that we need to take a look at and see what's really going on. Why was I constantly getting in trouble? I was constantly going to jail, acting out in anger, violent,
Wow.
and it took somebody outside of my community to recognize, hey, you're showing all of the signs of somebody that is bipolar, and I didn't want to accept that. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm not crazy. That's what I would say. You know.
Mm, I get it, man. I get it. So here's the thing. It was at the age of 25, right? The thing is,
Mhm.
it goes unnoticed. It gets overlooked and it gets
Yes, it
passed
does.
over. And here's the thing. You said the age of 25. Do you have children?
I do. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Did you have children before the age of 25?
No, I did not.
Okay. There's a lot of people out there that do. And they
Yes,
themselves
sir.
are still children raising children. So it could be hard to really recognize some of these things because you know as well as I do, man, people are just choosing not to go to the doctor. We're
Sure.
choosing not to acknowledge counseling, right?
Yes, sir.
It's just something
Absolutely.
we see on
Absolutely.
television. And we're also choosing to ignore certain conditions and pass them off as they'll get over it.
Hmm.
So when
Let
you
me
enter
let me
into
give you.
different
Yep.
relationships, it
Absolutely.
doesn't happen, right?
When you enter into what did you say? I didn't hear you.
When you enter into a relationship with someone, we
Hmm.
overlook that. We don't even bring that to the table. Hi, my name is Andy. I live here. This is my sign. This is what I do for a living. This is what I drive. And oh, by the way, I have a mental disorder. You don't mention that.
No, sir. And that is let me just tell you this. My when you're dealing with in dating, it is very important that you eventually get around to that.
Yeah.
You have to really trust somebody with that information at a certain point. That's not an opening line. However, before you get too deep into the relationship, I think that should be brought up. I didn't do it with my wife.
Mm.
And that is a terrible mistake. The reason why it's a terrible mistake is you don't give that person an opportunity to educate themselves on what it is that they will be dealing with and whether they
Yeah.
want to deal with it or not. You know what I mean?
Yes,
and and
absolutely.
it and it's not anything. My disorder is not anything that I can just get rid of tomorrow or anything like that. And so I have to bring that to the table along with looking at my job, how many kids I got, do I have a house, my credit score, what kind of car I drive, and all of this. And my gentleman, I have to let her know about that as well, because she will see me responding in a way that and she's going, what's wrong with you? Are you crazy? You
Mm.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so when a person says that, it really is a trigger for somebody like me, because it's now you're making fun of me. Your mind just not right.
Mm.
It's something wrong with you. And that's true. It is something wrong, but that is very hurtful for you to say that. But if you let them know this is what I have and this is what I'm dealing with, then they will be more considerate and provide you the support that you need throughout the relationship.
Why do you think that is? I mean, we talk about a lot of different things. You know, we talk about some of the hurt that we've gone through before and in the past. We talked about some of the jobs we may have had. We even talk about, some of our family members who we don't want to really introduce or bring them around because
Hmm.
they got a
Hmm.
problem. Not us. Never us. We're never the ones that got the
Sure.
issue. But why do
Sure.
we feel as if it's that hard to really recognize that and bring that to the table and say, hey, you know what? I got some things going on here, but I definitely want to be open and transparent to you about that. There's a wall that says, nah, I don't want to bring that, but I expect them to love me unconditionally. Really?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That doesn't happen. It's that they're a lot of times afraid of what they don't understand.
Yes.
And as a family, brother, we have to recognize what's going on with a person enough to study what it is. And there is family counseling, there is therapy, so that they will get your family to understand how to support you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
There are things that, okay, for instance, if I see something is a problem and you're telling me it's not a problem, or if I'm seeing something as a threat, the best thing at that moment is to acknowledge it as a threat with me until, because you are the enemy at that point.
Mm.
If I see a threat and you say, "Oh, that ain't no big deal," you see the scar on my head. I got a big old scar on my head, right? It's from an accident. It goes from here all the way down. Big old scar on my
Okay.
head. You might can't
Okay.
see it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, when people drive fast and they drive crazy and they swerving and doing all of this stuff, and I asked them, I said, "Man, slow down." You know what I mean? Now, my immediate family members automatically know that, okay, I am fixing to go over the top, or I'm going up. Normally, I'm even, you know what I mean? But they'll acknowledge when I'm becoming fearful, or if it's something that I see as a threat. But if I'm riding with you and you don't know and say, "Man, I got to get there on time," I will, man, maybe put the car in park while it's driving and jump out, man, and just start walking. Those are things and then you would say, "Man, that dude crazy, man. There's something wrong with him." It is something, but if you becoming aware of my condition, or studying or learning about it enough so that you can support me, um, that's what it's all about in our community. Learning about what it is that's going on with each other, man.
Okay. Real talk, man. We are talking about the topic something ain't right. How mental illness has affected your relationship. We having a wonderful discussion, man. Folks are giving me some thumbs up. They're giving me some likes. This brother is real. Never heard it quite put that way before. Am I reading it right? You got to work on you. Whoever said that, please work on your spelling. School just started back. I think you meant to say never heard it put quite well that way. But yeah, work on that. Work on that, man. Get back to school. Fix that. Keith is coming with some real game tonight, man. I'm loving this. And look at how we talk about this topic, man, because I want to encourage people to recognize that we're not just speaking about this on a surface level. Somebody has gone through some situations and some trauma in their own personal relationship where they just thought that that other person was just tripping, right?
Yep.
And they wanted to
Yep.
stay. They didn't really know how to support that. They didn't really know how to support that. They ended up walking away and leaving that hurt and that pain over and over and over again. Not really getting it right, not really connecting. How does somebody take that? Like, is that add to the rejection or depression? What is that feeling?
Well, it's like it's like if somebody is, and I hope this is not a bad analogy, not one, but things that people can see,
Mhm.
things that people can see with their eyes, or people tend to have more compassion for that, because like if somebody's in a wheelchair, okay,
Okay,
you're not gonna make fun of that person. What would you look like making fun of a person that's in a wheelchair? That is terrible.
it is.
You see what I'm saying? But when you do me like that, that is exactly the same.
Mm,
I was born like that, but you're making fun of me. Um, you're picking at me. I already feel a certain way about myself, and I already deal with that. I talk to my counselor. I talk to my therapist. I'm taking meds. I know that. I have entered. I have went from mental illness to being mentally healthy, mentally stable. Right? I have a program. I have a regiment that I go by, and I am able to operate and function. Now, you come and make fun of me, or say something. It's just like you may have heard this term, like dealing with, man, don't mess with old girl, man. She on psych meds.
mm.
You ever you understand what I'm saying? And you're
Yeah,
like, whoa,
I know
wait a minute.
somebody who should be taking it. Yeah, I got
You know what I'm saying?
you. Mhm.
Instead of getting to understand what's really going on, what happened to her? Why is she like that? Is there something that she is a good person? Could be, but you allowed that. It's a stigma. You allowed that to cause you to distance yourself from that individual, and that's the problem.
Yeah, I can see it. This is real talk, folks. If you are just now tuning in, please make time. Tell somebody else. Share the link. Just use those thumbs for what you normally do. Like you share other videos, you share other insight. Go on and share with us what you're doing, what you think about this particular show. Chianti Jeconiah is on this particular broadcast talking with us about something ain't right. It just ain't right. How mental illness affects your relationships. And I really want to dive off into this a little bit more deeper because now we're talking about how somebody actually feels, right? The persona of which we're projecting out because they don't understand us. How does this take a toll, or how does a mental illness affect those who are around you? Let's talk about that family because I want to get to the movie in just a minute, but I want to touch all the pinpoints and dynamics. How does your family receive knowing that somebody close to them has a mental illness?
Hmm. Um, Basically, everyone in my immediate family knows.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just like it took me a while to accept the fact that that I was bipolar. It took me a while to really. I didn't go in the right way. I did not go in telling my wife, "Hey, this is what I'm dealing with," and it caused us some problems. And these were the problems. She would say, "Man, you know, it's something wrong with your head. You got a mental problem. You need to go get some help." And she kept on saying that. And I would hide different things. I wouldn't do things because, okay, if she knew I was taking medication, I had actually stopped taking my medication at one time. And and she knew that it was something mentally wrong with me and I needed therapy. And she
Mm.
told me, "Hey, if you don't go get some help, I'm leaving you." Because I was doing what you would call the most. I would keep you up all night. She couldn't get no sleep over something that happened 3 days ago. You know what I
Huh.
mean? Because it's an episode. it's an episode, and I'm on this episode, and I'm constantly, I mean, really, literally, she couldn't get any sleep until finally it got so bad, um, until I just reached out for help and got back on my medication and started back getting therapy, and it's been smooth sailing ever since.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Yep.
People don't realize this.
Yep.
It is a true condition. We say different things in the relationships, to have and to hold, for better or worse, and sickness and in health. But a lot of times we'll throw in our own vows until they start tripping. And that's really not a healthy place to be. It's really not. You see what I'm saying? Until I just can't figure this
Yeah,
person out, I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
go ahead and leave. Yeah, we hear about
Exactly,
cheating. Yeah, we
exactly.
hear
But
about people taking the money, and you want to live your best life, but you signed the contract to say you're gonna be with this particular person till death do you part. But we don't want to do that. We'll tap out at the first sign of I can't handle this. It seems like we're putting a lot of pressure on our significant other to even deal with or bear with us through a certain period of time. It can be tough, especially being a father and being a parent. How does that look, or just having mental illness relate to as being a parent? Sometimes the children may frustrate you, or sometimes you may frustrate children. How does that look, man? What is that like? Talk to me about that. We got a slight freeze. Got a little cold there. You got a nice smile, brother. Nice smile. I think he froze. I think we lost him right there. The signal may have dropped. But I hope you all are getting this. I know Keontae is going to come back in and chime in. I think the signal may have lost right there. That's okay. It happens. But folks, I want y'all to really get this, man. This is some real discussion here. When we talk about relationships and mental illness, it's always sad and stressful, man, when couples break up. But if one or both of them kind of, one has a mental illness, if you will, right, and the other provides like a safety net or a help me, then you kind of worry about your own mental health in the midst of a breakup. Like, was I the one that was wrong in this, or was I one that was not being as supportive, or did I really not try to help out, or did they just wear on me too much? It was just too much for me to handle. We got to really exercise every day and be conscious of how we treat people, what we're doing, and just find some vices that help you get through it. Get away from that motherfucking television sometimes and just talk to your mate, right? Have a discussion. Take a nice little walk. My Jill Scott fans, take a nice long walk, have a picnic, or just go somewhere and unplug from that freaking tube sometimes. Because what I'm really starting to see is us dive off into these videos, and we're on the toilet watching TikTok videos, and we're spending a lot of time just not really giving energy to those who are around us. We're not doing that enough. And a lot of times that pushes us away from the relationship that we have in-house, because our device is our vice. We can't put this thing down. And because we can't put it down, we're not able to pick up our significant other and lift them up in the time when they need, because what do they tend to do? They drift, they walk away, they get away from all the, yeah. Don't be in that space, right? You got folks that, listen, we have people who are in a space now who are being entertained by people walking up on milk crates and falling over. If you, sir, ma'am, have watched this on a repeated level, you're kind of part of the problem. Like, do you even know what the symbolization of that is? Okay, at first it might be a little funny to see people fall over. I get that. But repeatedly, over and over, it's the same thing. They're stacked the exact same way. Half of these folks out here stacking up these milk carts can't really do math, right? They're not even putting their own furniture in the house correctly, let alone stack some milk crates up in the front yard. But psychologically, it has effect on you, because what you're seeing is that people are struggling to get to the top. Psychologically, you're seeing that over and over again. People are struggling to get to the top, and you will fall before you make it to the top. Subconsciously, that's going to ring a bell to you, folks. subconsciously your mind is going to say, nah. It's funny after a while, but then you start to just push people away. Things get a little difficult, and it's not a healthy sight over and over, especially when you see younger people pushing older people down. Chianti's back with us, man. We lost you for a quick second. Glad you can make it back on, man. Sometimes these nasty signals out here and these 5G towers take a mind of their own.
Man, I'm telling you, man, good to be back. Yes,
It
sir.
is.
Where we
Round
at?
two, we starting off on the second part, on the second half of the show. And I was mentioning while you were getting back on about these, you know, a pseudo mental illness about these milk crates. People are out here climbing up these milk crates and you
Mm-hmm.
know, putting them together, stacking them up the exact same way, no matter where they are, the exact same number of milk crates over and over again, looking like a grid, kind of looking like a chart, same way.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like subconsciously, it tells you that on your way to the top, you're going to fall.
Mm-hmm.
As a
Wow.
level of success, you're on your way to the top and you're going to fall. And even if you don't fall, somebody who looks like you is ready to push you down. And we find this
Man.
humorous. Ugh.
Wow.
That,
I never thought
my
about it
man.
like that.
Yeah. That in
Yeah.
itself, based on what you're telling me, that in itself, my brother, is a form of a mental illness. Why are you doing this?
I, yeah. I never
You
thought
need some
about it
help.
like that. That's yeah, yeah. That's deep. That's deep. That's
Because
deep.
look at it.
Yes, sir.
What you just said, right? We shouldn't laugh at somebody's pain. But we're taking the time to we're
Absolutely.
watching them from afar. We're looking at them, we're recording, we want to put them on blast. It looks okay, kind of funny at first, but after a while you realize, hey, that's a problem. And we
Sure.
see it repeatedly over and over again. But the real root of the issue is on your way to the top, you're going to fall. No matter how
Wow.
successful you may try to get up, you're going to fall. And
Yeah.
only a
Yeah.
few
Yeah.
ever make it to the top.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's powerful. That's powerful right there. Yeah. And it's real. It's imagery. And it's so subtle. You know what I mean? It's so subtle. I never thought about that. I never thought about it like that. But now that you mention it, that's powerful right there. I like that.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Yes, sir.
yeah, absolutely. You as a writer, man, what even got you into that? Because you talk about different messages, subliminal messages that we're seeing. As a writer, man, as
Hmm.
even an actor, you're giving people a subliminal message about something that you actually took about your own or based on a true story, not an actual true story, but based on a true story. You turn that thing into an actual motion picture. Salute to you
Yes,
on
sir.
doing that, brother. Where did that come from? Like, what said to you that success was on you once you put pen to paper?
I have always had a just a gift. Man, I grew up in a household with a really dysfunctional household. Child abuse, spousal abuse. I mean, domestic violence, um, molest, um, child molestation. All of these different things, and I was not able to talk to anybody about it. And so as soon as I was able to what goes on in this house stays in this house type of
Mhm.
situation. Some of that is to protect the parent from because they know they doing the wrong thing. You know what I
Ah,
mean? It's not like
yeah,
you don't want them telling your business, but I needed somebody an outlet. And when I learned how to write, I started writing poetry, and the pain would ease up. It wouldn't go away, but it would ease up. And the more words I learned, the more I learned how to express myself, and that was my therapy. That was my outlet. And I started writing music. I always wrote poetry. And during
good.
this pandemic, one of the things that my therapist would tell me is, you know, you write it to get it out. And some people, when they see it on paper, they'll tear it up or they'll burn it, and that makes them feel better. Like something that happened to you, a bad day or whatever, and you can't get over. You write it out and you journal it and you get it out of you, and then you burn it. It makes you feel better. You tear it up, it makes you feel better. But when
Yeah,
I write and I release it to an audience and they can benefit from it, I am turning a negative into a positive. if that makes
Wow.
sense.
Yeah, it does. It really does. We're on the second half of the hour, working our way down to the top of the hour coming up. But as we even go here on this particular subject matter, what what said this needs to be a film? What says your life? Because the movie is called Incubated. What said to you this
Hmm.
needs to be a film? How did it get there?
We were writing a film. We were writing a film uh, at the moment. Me and my team, we were writing a film,
Okay.
and right in the middle of us writing this film, we were in the middle of the script. The pandemic hit, social distancing hit,
Mm,
and I was afraid. And my current therapeutic regimen, it was not working. COVID overrode the medication that I was on, the therapy, all of that. It COVID, because I thought I was about to die. I thought the world was going to end. I'm thinking all of these things because we've never dealt with anything like this before
right.
in my life. You know what I mean? And so I literally thought that, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't take anything home to my family. And I also wanted to make sure that I didn't get anything. And so I wanted to stay inside of my truck. And I called the director, Google E. Michaels, and I called him and I told him, I said, hey, man, let's write a movie so that we can social distance and we can be safe. He said, well, what do you want to write about? I said, I want to write about a guy that's locked in his truck that don't want to go home because he didn't want to give his family COVID and he didn't want to, get out and catch COVID from anybody else. And and his family is going to work to get him out of the truck. But he's going to trap himself in the truck. And he said, man, keep telling me the story. And I kept telling him, and he said, well, start writing it. And as I started writing the story, I felt better about the pandemic.
Very cool. Okay.
And that's how that's why it's based on a true story. And what I did was I I went back and started thinking about my past childhood trauma and how I made it out of that. And I started back using the old tools that I had, and that's the only way I made it through the pandemic, man. I panicked. I was like really, really, really freaking out for real. In that movie, I was doing that stuff really. I was hearing things, I was seeing things in my truck in 2020. And I
Wow.
write about it, and that's how this movie came about. I stayed locked up in my truck for 30 days straight. I didn't go home.
30
I
days
would
straight.
pass my house 30 days straight. I would pass my house and I would feel like, man, I don't feel right, or I got a chest pain or whatever. And I would drive past my house, man. I wouldn't even go see my wife and kids. I drive past my house, and I would, if I got a cold or anything, I drove my 18 wheeler to the nursing clinic and told them I want them to test me for COVID. I pulled behind the urgent care clinic and in Forney, Texas, and told them, hey, I think I got COVID. I want in an 18 wheeler, man, pulling up to the thing. This is what
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I went
Oh yeah,
inside the
absolutely.
nursing clinic, came back out. So that's how this movie came about. That's how it
Wow.
um it started. Yeah.
Wow. That's real, man. I'm glad you were able to do that
Yeah.
because now what you've done is you've given a wonderful production. You've written a very intriguing story, man. I promise you. Folks need to check this out,
Yes,
man.
sir.
The film is called Incubated. And I got a chance to see it here in Dallas. There's some people out there on social media who need to see what you have going on. Some very unique scenes. Of course, the sex scene is dope, is what it is. Of course, the scenes with the other guy in the corner in the truck, yeah, that's dope. Um, and also the young man that plays your son. So I'm not going to tell too much about it because I want people to go out there and check it out. If anybody watches this movie for the very first time, what is the expectation? That what kind of feeling that do you think that they need to have from start to finish when they actually begin to watch and when the movie's over? What kind of emotion, what kind of feeling, or what do you want them to gain from watching Incubate?
I want them to see how important family is.
Mm.
I want them to see that I want them to see how a family is not supposed to function, and I want them to see how a family that is not functioning properly affects children. Okay.
Ah.
And I want them to see how a family that is functioning properly can restore a broken child, a child that went through molestation, abuse, and watching his mom drug down the hallway, man, beaten out of her clothes. No child should ever have to see his mama in that position,
Mm.
crying for her life. You know what I'm saying? Being knocked away from the table while we eating. You know what I mean? Beaten for. I mean, those things need to be exposed in our communities, man.
Right.
Because I want them to know if this is what's going on in any of your homes or homes that you know about, that we need to do something about that to stop that. I want them to see how that affects children, and I also want them to know that a strong family can get us through this. And I've said this before. I want them to know that the answer is not in the White House; it's in our house. That's the
Look at
solution.
that. Hey, that's real
Yeah,
spit,
that's what I
brother.
want them to know.
I'm digging it.
Yeah.
Man, Chianti Jeconiah is here, right with us on the online happy hour. Listen, folks, last year he started his own production company, and I believe it's called Unity Films. Am I correct?
It all the words together spell is you mix them up and it's unity is in there, but it's actually Yanti Films. That's what my dad used
Unity
to call
Films.
me, short for Chianti. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hmm.
Unity Films. And
Yeah.
you're doing things where you talk about the community and bringing the community together and bringing that awareness to the community. I think that's great. So while you're doing this, what's next for you? Let me ask you that. What's the next for you coming up?
We are going to continue on this path. I don't. We're going to continue on this path. We're going to continue to shed positive light on our communities. We have enough. Um, we have enough stuff going on that's negative in Hollywood, in the film industry. There's enough of that, and so the path that we're on is to shed positive light in our communities. And even though, like you say, we have a sex scene and we have this and we have that, in the end, we're going to shed positive light on our community and address issues that are really don't want to be addressed. The next thing that we're going to look at is absent fathers.
Mm.
That's a big thing. That's a huge
Yeah.
thing, and that's the next thing we're going to address. And it's going to be something dealing with daddy issues. You know what I mean? Absent
Yeah.
fathers and different things like that. I don't want to get too much into it, but we're going to
Sure.
continue to point out things in our communities and expose those things, and not just expose the problem. We're also going to, in that same film, expose the answer. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hmm.
I dig it,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
This is truly a wonderful discussion, man. I'm glad that you not only made time to be with us tonight, but called back and got in a little bit more right here on the online happy hour,
Yes,
man.
sir.
I don't know where else you can go, folks, that you can't be with real people discussing real topics about real situations, and we're not gonna sugarcoat a goddamn thing on here. This is just how we talk. This is who we
Exactly.
are. We just
Yeah,
have to be real
yeah,
because I think
absolutely.
the people who are listening deserve that. You deserve it. You
Sure,
deserve A1
sure,
discussion.
sure.
Yeah. And we're not going to play around with this because when you hear, listen, when we talk about mental illness, we don't stay there long enough, right? We just kind of shun over a
Hmm.
little bit. Say, hey, I saw it. I kind of recognized it, but I want to kind of move on back to some funny shit. Well, let's address this
Yeah, yeah,
elephant in the
yeah.
room, make sure that we understand what it is in here before we even do anything else with it because you don't want to continue to let that thing fester, right?
Sure, sure.
A lot of times people talk
Absolutely
about,
not.
oh,
Absolutely.
my woman cheated on me or my man cheated on me or somebody stole some money. You'll talk about that all day long. You'll talk about somebody
Yeah.
falling over and getting pushed down or getting beat up or getting hit by some kids. We'll talk about that. That's cool.
Hmm.
Let me talk about some of the things that are under the surface on this, because it can help kind of point the finger at where this needs to begin.
Sure,
And I think a lot of
sure.
us just kind of missed the ball and dropped that. So we mentioned about medication, and that's something that I definitely want you to really discuss before we end the show here. We got about 15 good minutes about this, but let's talk about that with that medication, man. How do you prescribe medication for mental? Somebody that's I'm asking out of true ignorance because I don't know. And I know somebody out there wants to know this as well. How do you go about that? Is there a certain we talk about high blood pressure, right? We talk about taking vaccinations for COVID. We talk about getting
Hmm.
flu shots. We talk about a proper diet, right, for health concerns. But
Hmm.
where do we talk about
Hmm.
medication for mental health? How does that align with that?
Well, just like they take tests and evaluate you, just just like they take tests and evaluate you for. First of all, in order for me to answer this question properly, I want I want us to know. I want everybody to know that mental health is there is no separation in mental health and physical health. Mental health is physical health because
Hmm.
how could you be physical without your mind?
Right.
So there's
Wow.
no separation. There's no you take your mind out and it's nothing. That you ever heard of somebody in a vegetable state?
Hmm.
They can't be physical at all. So there's no difference in that. Now, just like they take tests and according to the test that to the results, they prescribe you medicine just like they do that, and that's the exact same thing that they do. They diagnose you, okay. Um, they they evaluate you. They ask you certain questions. What do you see? How do you respond to this and how do you respond to that? You tell them what's going on, and as you are communicating with them, as you're constantly communicating with them, that's why it's challenging to diagnose a child. And that's the unfortunate part. It is very challenging to diagnose a child because of their lack of communication. They can't explain their feelings and their emotions. But as an adult or a teenager, they can, or they can ask the parents, "Hey, what's going on in the house?" And according to that, they come up with a diagnosis. And the psychiatrist, which you have people that will diagnose you, and then you have people on the medical side that will prescribe the medicine. Okay. Now,
Mm.
how it happened to me? I actually was in a mental health facility. Okay. My manic episode, I would not calm down. And they had to take me to a mental health facility. And while I was in that facility, um, what happened was they had a team of doctors and a therapist, and
Mhm.
they got together and evaluated me and prescribed my medication. And what happened initially was it was too much, and it was causing me not to be. And so they tapered it down. They tapered me off of it until I could function normally and still be able to not go through these manic episodes or depression. And they finally got my medication right. Everybody does not have to go through that
Mm.
process, but that's how I was done.
Okay. Now, is there a way that you like distinguish when it's a time to come away from that medication, or is that something that you're just on for a long period of time? Like, how does that get regulated?
What I've done is I've tried to see, because I'm gonna tell you something that happened to me.
Mhm.
Um, church, church. Well,
Hmm.
and I'm not bashing no church or nothing, but they'll tell you you just need you don't need that medicine. You just need God, or you just need more prayer, or you just need more scripture. And so all you got to do is just believe in God. And so I have went that route before.
Mhm.
I tried I tried that, bro. I tried that route. I said, okay, I believe in this, that, and the other. Man, that did not work. Okay.
Right.
So basically, what I'm telling you is there have been numerous amount of times when I first got married. I said, okay, I'm married. My wife is everything that I need, and my children, my dog, and they're gonna make me happy. We got a nice house and all of that. Man, listen, I was, everybody was. I'm talking about everybody wanted to leave the house by the time I got finished, and it got to the point to where my wife, like I said, she said, hey, unless you get some help. I finally admitted to her later on down the line that I'm bipolar, and that is the absolute wrong way to go. You don't want
Okay.
to tell nobody once you, but after you get married that you're bipolar. And God bless her heart. I'm glad that she rolled that out with me. You know, uh, and but I got back on my program on the things that I know to do, and it's been smooth sailing. Let me say this for men: there are some medications that will cause your okay cause your sexual arousing. You won't be aroused. So don't shun the medication. Go and let the doctor know, hey, this is, let me just talk, my thing won't get hard. Can I say
You
that?
gotta get a lot more water, man. You just gotta,
Huh? I mean, can I? I
you
mean,
gotta be
I don't.
good
I
with
don't
that
know. Can I
water.
say
You
that?
gotta be good with that water, man. We gotta be good with that water.
We got to what?
We gotta be good with the water. The water is the key. Water,
Oh yeah,
flush it out,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
blood
yeah,
flow.
yeah. But exactly. So, but I'm just talking. But you
I'm
have
with
to
you.
go
I'm with
back
you
and
all the
tell.
way, brother. I'm
You
with you
got to
all the way.
you got to go back. You got to go back and tell the doctor, hey man, this is causing me not to even be stimulated. I am emotionless. I don't
Mm,
hug my wife. I'm having problems in the bed. And so, okay, well, let's try this one then. You understand what I'm saying? Let's
right.
try
Right.
this.
Yeah.
And so after a series of trying different medications, don't give up on the process. Is basically what I'm saying. If you're having something, if something making your stomach hurt or this or that, don't stop just saying I don't want to take no I don't want to take no medication. Period. Just go back and tell them, hey, this is what this is causing me to do
Yeah.
because I've been through all of that. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Okay. That's real, man.
yeah.
This is the folks who are just now, man, checking this brother out. This is real discussion right here on the online happy hour. Chianti Jeconiah is real. This brother is breaking barriers. You got to get to know him, learn more about him. I believe people need to learn more about you on your social media platform. Where can they find you? And where can they find out more about Incubated the movie?
Um, okay. We have a website, and it's basically it's www.incubatedthemovie.com.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have on social media. It's Incubated the Movie on it's on Instagram. It's Incubated
Okay,
the Movie on Facebook. It's just Incubated, but that's where they can find it. And it's basically like I said, incubatedthemovie.com. You go there and they can find a movie. They can find the synopsis. They can find things about the director, the cast, and everything about that movie on their website. Yes, sir.
that's beautiful, man. I definitely loved watching it. I had a chance to come out to visit that in Mockingbird. A good friend, our good colleague, Miss Vivian, full of love, makes things happen. Vivian's
Yes.
such a wonderful person. Hey, Vivian, I know you're watching. High five to Vivian wherever she
Absolutely,
is.
absolutely. Yes, indeed,
And
indeed,
if you
indeed.
don't know Vivian full of love, folks, you need to know her. Whether you're in Dallas or in California, New York, San Diego, Mississippi, get to know who Vivian full of love is. She's a great woman. Um, but folks, I want you to
Exactly.
understand, man, this is a message. My folks who are out there looking for something new to watch that need a different perspective on things, right? You've watched some movies who just were just over the top blockbusters. You've seen some movies who were just epic fails. You need to see something that's totally different. You need to see something that's totally dynamic and truly independent that gives you an ultimate look of what it looks like to walk in the life and the day and the month. 30 days of being in that truck. Were you power only, brother, or you didn't have a trailer with you?
No, no, I did. I dropped my load off. I dropped my load off, and I was power only. Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yep. Exactly. Yes, sir.
Right on. So get to
Yep.
know more about Incubated the movie. get to know about this wonderful gentleman, man, and watch the path that he's on. Follow him on social media. If you are on there now, if you before the show is over, if you follow him now, give a thumbs up in the comments bar. Let me bless you. Let me go ahead and give you a wonderful gift tonight just for supporting what this brother's doing and give some insight. Again, you are on Instagram. I think it's what's your Instagram following?
My Instagram is Chianti Graham at Chianti Graham, and that's ChiantiGram at Chianti
Real
Graham.
talk.
That's my Instagram.
Follow this
Yes.
brother tonight, man. Go ahead and put his name right here in the chat. Let us know that you're supporting and what he's doing. If you have seen the movie Incubated, please let us know what your thoughts were about that, when you saw it, and tell a friend, man. This has been real. I definitely appreciate you making
Please.
time for us tonight. Don't be a stranger, brother, because I have got some wonderful things I'd like to present to you if you're in the
Awesome.
position to do some writing. I got some wonderful discussion topics and a wonderful book I'd like to present to you as well, to present to your production team. So yeah, we can work together on some wonderful stuff. Chianti Jeconiah, ladies and gentlemen, has joined us on the online happy hour. Shout out to that brother for doing some wonderful things, and I definitely appreciate him for making time. I definitely appreciate you all for making time, keeping it real and keeping it 100 right here in this space. Whatever it is that you're doing, wherever it is you may go, know that the online happy hour's got some great stuff, man. Speaking of great stuff, Feline Couture is a clothing company, clothing boutique actually, and cosmetics brand based out of Atlanta, Georgia. For all things luxury and the ultimate in fashion persona, visit feline-couture.com. That's feline-couture.com. Did y'all get some good insight tonight? Did you get some good game? Were you enlightened? Did you learn a little bit more about mental health? Because I know I did. And I don't want this to be the last time that he comes here. I don't want this to be the last time that we discuss this, because somebody out there is going through relationship issues and you haven't pinpointed the reason why. Your significant other, or maybe even you, can't quite get it right. So something ain't right. How mental illness has affected your relationship. Please take a deeper look. Please get more understanding. Learn a little bit more about your partner. Don't be so quick to walk away, give up, or push them to the curb. I know you want to stay. I know you want to walk away. I know you think they're crazy, deranged, a little bit thrown off, or a little bit something ain't right with them. Find out more. And you know what? Don't walk away from the opportunity to get help. You heard him mention counseling. It's very, very important. You heard him mention medication. It's very, very important. You've heard him mention support. It's very, very important. And ultimately, folks, you have to have self-love and respect for yourself. If nothing else, love yourself enough to know that somebody cares about you, and it has to start from within. Who you are, what you do, what you expect, not only for yourself, but for your family and your children. So I thank you for making time. I thank you for doing what you do. I thank you for supporting the show. As always, folks, you make the show what it is. And if you got some good game out of what you heard tonight, please do me a favor, man. Tell at least 2 more people to tune in with you next week as I drop another hot topic and give y'all some good insight. I want to say good night to my family. Don't mob to my frat. Love to my Saras, to my uncles, aunts, cousins, kinfolks, and everybody the same. Please know that I love you and I want you to get home safe. God bless you. Good night. It's your main man, Andy Brown, and I'm gone. Right here on the Online Happy Hour, right here broadcasting live on your social media platform. I'm out.